The first thing I noticed wasn't the smell of another man's cologne. It was the way Elena looked at her reflection in the hallway mirror. For 7 years, I had been the one to tell her she was beautiful. I was the one who held her hand through her panic attacks. I worked double shifts and skipped meals to pay for her showroom. I was the anchor that kept her steady when the world got too loud. But that night, she wasn't looking for steadiness. She was wearing a dress I had never seen before, a deep, midnight silk that cost more than my monthly car payment. She was humming a song I didn't recognize, and her eyes were glowing. "It's just a late client meeting, Leo," she said, not even looking at me. She applied a shade of red lipstick that looked like a fresh wound. "I'll be back late." "Don't wait up," she added casually. I watched her walk out and the taillights of her car disappear. And then I did something I had never done in 10 years of knowing her. I opened her laptop and the messages weren't hidden. She didn't think she needed to hide them from me at all. To her, I was just Leo, the reliable, boring, safe Leo. The messages were from Julian, her lead architect, and I scrolled back, further and further until the date hit me like a physical blow. 6 months. They had been together for 6 months, I realized. "The penthouse is ready," Julian wrote. "And so am I. I can't wait to see you in that silk dress," he added. "It's a shame your anchor will never see you the way I do. Free." Elena's reply made my heart stop in its tracks. "He's not an anchor, Julian. He's a weight," she said. "But don't worry. I've learned how to swim now. I don't need him to keep me afloat anymore," she concluded. I sat in the dark for 4 hours, my mind racing. I thought about the car I had sold to get her firm off the ground. My father's 1969 Mustang, which I sold exactly 6 months ago. The same week she started her private meetings with Julian. Every time I saw her showroom, I saw the ghost of that car. A sacrifice I made for a woman who was already planning her exit. Slowly, the heat in my chest didn't just fade, it froze. When she came home at 3 a.m., she found me sitting at the kitchen table. The lights were off, and she looked confused and scared. "Leo, why are you sitting in the dark? You scared me." She laughed, a light, airy sound that felt like glass cutting into my skin. "I was thinking about swimming," I said, my voice sounding different. It didn't have the usual warmth. It was hollow and empty. She paused, her smile faltering as she looked at me. "What? You're being weird. Look, I'm exhausted. Let's just go to bed. I'm leaving." "Elena," I said firmly, cutting her off. She stopped mid-step, her expression shifting to confusion. "Leaving? For a business trip? You didn't mention that." "No," I cut her off again. "I'm leaving the firm, the house. And you," she finally looked at me, really looked at me for the first time. "Is this about tonight? I told you it was a client. You're being insecure again, Leo. It's suffocating." I stood up. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just handed her a folder. "These are the dissolution papers for the firm," I said quietly. "Since I own 51% of the assets, I've decided to liquidate. Every showroom, every contract, every piece of furniture you picked out. It's all being sold," I stated, my heart heavy with the words. Her face went pale, and the free woman suddenly looked very small. You can't do that. This is my life." "You promised to support me," she exclaimed, her voice trembling. "I promised to be your anchor," I whispered. "But for 6 months, you've been letting Julian pull you away. You told him I was a weight." I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. "I'm letting go, Elena. Let's see how well you swim without me." The next 6 months were a blur of cold steel and high-rise offices. I moved to London. I started a private equity firm. I didn't look back once. One rainy evening, my assistant told me a woman was waiting in the lobby. I knew who it was before I even saw her. Elena looked broken. Her silk dress was replaced by a cheap coat. Her fire was gone. "Leo," she choked out, her voice trembling. "Julian left. He took the remaining funds and left me with the debt. I made a mistake. I didn't know how much you did. I didn't realize that the world is so cold. I miss you. I miss us." She reached for my hand. Her fingers were shaking. "Please, Leo, take me back. I'll do anything. I'll be the wife you wanted." I looked at her. I waited for that old familiar pull in my chest. I waited for the urge to protect her, to shield her, to be her anchor. But there was nothing. Just a vast, empty sea. "Elena," I said, my voice as calm as a frozen lake. "You told the world you didn't need a weight to keep you afloat." I stepped back, letting her hand fall into the empty air. "The water looks deep tonight. I hope you've finally learned how to swim." I turned my back and walked into my office. I didn't hear her cry. I didn't hear her call my name because for the first time in my life, I wasn't listening.